Welcome to Shark Cap Table. We're going to just review fast because the ultimate aim is to do a tutorial for Shark Cap Table LITE. I want to remind you that Shark Cap Table Fast is a good place to start. The data communicates with Shark Cap Table LITE. And the reason we have LITE is that it allows you to structure deals with royalties, and LITE produces the famous stand up and deliver Shark Cap Table pitch. Now, let's just go over fast to make sure we are where we are. The first thing I want you to understand is the detailed valuation, 450 over here, actually comes from this red tab, Detailed Founder Valuation. And you can see that we've given the 6 components, and you've got some additional line items here which are very important to argue to maintain your founder valuation, because the sharks or your investors are going to try to beat you down, because remember, the lower the pre-money value is, the bigger the share they get. So it's a yin-yang kind of battle. You want it up, they want it down. So there it is. We think that this table and this computer program will really help you negotiate. So let's just go through this. So here is our fully diluted ownership stakes, 10%, 50%, and 40%. The Shark multiple is 2.7 with a 27.8% internal revenue return. Internal rate of return. Then we've got the founder controlling the voting with 55.6 and the Shark having 44.4. This is all predicated on a year 4 sale at $2 million with a $3 million Shark investment and a pre-money value of $450. Now we say $465. You might be lucky if you get it that high, but nonetheless, here it is. And these are the number of shares to the founders, and there's an option pool of 20%. So that in a nutshell is what's going on in Shark Cap Table Fast. Now, let's go over to Shark Cap Table LITE by clicking the middle red tab. And here we are. We're going to go through this and quickly see that all the data is already here. So you've got your founder shares and your option pool, the minimal option cost, got to put $100 or more, otherwise you get strange and very large internal rates of return. Now here's the skin in the game, and here's the 450, and you see that that 465 is the number. Now the reason it's red is that right now the Shark pre-money value is less, and you'd love to have it show green, but it won't happen. Shark cash investment that you're looking for is $300,000, and when you sum these two up, you get the Shark post-money value. Now, just to show you some things up here, you could hide all this, and we might do that now, and instead of calling them sharks, you could always call them investors or VCs, but I have more fun talking about them as sharks. Now let's go on down and do the revenue projections. Got to show that exactly here. Okay, oops. Okay, there we go, good enough. Now, we've already filled in these revenue projections to save some time. We've already, from the other sheet, agreed that we're going to try to sell this business in year 4 for $2 million. Now, that happens to be a 2 times revenue sale. 1 million becomes 2 million. Now, watch what happens, of course, if we move this across with the same sales price. We're getting a smaller and smaller multiple. So if you want to sell into the future to get a little better price, make sure you go over here and crank that up. But let's keep this for now in the year 4. And we've already created the Shark share, which is 40% of the exit value, and $800,000 happens to be 40% of $2 million. Now let's go on down here to the summary. And as we said before, here's the $300,000 investment, Shark pre-money at $450. We're selling in year 4. That's the value of the Shark exit, and it ends up giving them a 2.67 I multiple, 27.8% internal rate of return, and the Shark owns 40%. I think I will go back up here and show the help, because there's some interesting things going on here, and you should read all the help, including things like the pop-ups where you're hitting line items. There's a lot of stuff Don't forget that we've moved this. You can move this any place you want to. Okay, that's one nice thing about Excel and these pop-ups. So, here we go. We could do something different here to reduce the shark ownership, but still keep them with a 27.8% internal rate of return and 2.67. Let's go in and select Combo. Notice it turns yellow, and you still have the same information here, but the first thing I want to do is I want to copy over these numbers as it go by. So here we go, 2.67, 27.8, and 40 even. We're going to refer back to these numbers. It's a little scratch pad. So we could improve the ownership by granting, for example, a 5% royalty. I want to caution, don't make these gross sales royalties very big without looking at your balance sheets and income statements. But remember, we're doing this all without one, or if you do, you're going to refer to it later. Okay, 5% generates $87,500 starting in year 2 and ending at the end of year 4 when we sell. So, notice here that the shark internal rate of return has gone up to 31.8 from 27.8. What we can do, watch these two numbers, what we can do is we can make this number equal to the 27.8 by merely increasing pre-money value. Now we're doing some big clicks, 27.8, it's close enough. But you see now, the point is that they used to have 40% ownership. Now we've taken off about 6 percentage points. That's good. The returns are the same. We maintain a little more control for the next round. Don't forget, most businesses, no matter how successful they are, in fact, even the most successful ones, need more cash to drive and fuel their growth. Bad companies are trying to stay alive, and you'll have trouble raising money if you're doing lousy. So, here's the point. With a royalty, you can maintain the internal rates of return and you can reduce the ownership, and that's pretty powerful. There's no cap table out there that even does this kind of strategizing, but I have seen lots of deals recently at the early stage where they're trying to do these royalties to give people a rate of return that improves. Now, there's another thing you could do, and that is to make a preferential multiple. Now, here's what happens. A preferential has a limited life. That has an advantage over a regular royalty because professional investors later on hate, and I underscore hate, to see royalties being given that don't have a limited life because they can plague you forever. When the company gets really big, there goes 5%, which is a tremendous amount. So pay up now, get it off your chest, and be done with it. So here's what we do. We go in, and we give this guy 3-to-1 on his money. Sounds terrific. Why not? Why wouldn't he do that? Still based on a 5% royalty, but we must sell it to him. Now notice what's going to happen. We're trying to raise $300,000. Every time we click this, it takes off there, so we still maintain. So we're going to go to $50,000. That's going to give him a $150,000 return, which is 3 times his 50. Based upon 5% royalty. Still starts in year 2 and ends the end of the year 4 when we sell it. Now let's go back and do the same analysis. Actually, I want to do this. I want to crank this back to 0 because I forgot to do an important thing. Before we do this, we want to, there we go, we want to reset this pre-money value. So let's go back to the pre-money value that generates this 40%. See why we need to remember these things? Because these things change. Okay, so there we are. Let's go back. Let's put in $50,000. Let's put in the 5% royalty and then give him the 3-to-1. So we'll crank up to 3-to-1. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. Come on back. Okay, now let's go in and do the same thing. This time he's got a 34% royalty, which is up from the 27.8. So just let's go in here and raise this up until we get around 27, 28%. Well, there it is. Now this is even a little bit better. We used to have about 34%. Now we got 31.6%. What a deal. So this is pretty cool. And keep in mind that if you're going to see combo here and you want to go back and do anything on Shark Cap Table fast, You'll be reminded, but you must reset back to the equity deal and zero out these royalties, because Shark Cap Table Fast does not analyze royalties. That's one of the reasons we have Shark Cap Table LITE. Okay, let's move on. So now we've got a deal. You've seen this before. This will just simply tell you what the investment is all about. And here is your long-awaited Shark I could say that better. Shark Capitalization Table. It takes your components and shows what the various investments and costs are, the shares issued, the share price, the post-money, the exit value, and most importantly, if you happen to have a royalty or without, it'll still calculate the I multiple and your internal rate of return for the year. Now, we're coming down to the big one. This is where we really separate from everybody else, because we write a shark pitch for you so you can stand and deliver. Now, here's what goes on. We've got, in this drop-down, 6 types of businesses. Now, we're in the software business, so let's do that one. The company's name is Brucent, and here are the 2 partners. That's me, Bruce Badeau, and my great partner, Glenn Gutierrez. Now, the next thing we got to do is we got to ask ourselves, we want to make the revenue goal year equal to the year that we're selling. Now, notice if we go past it, it seems kind of stupid, because we're selling in year 4. Why would you talk about revenue goals after you sell? So, at the very least, make it the same. You could be less, and that would indicate maybe you need some more money. Don't talk about that now, because that kind of scares investors away. So there it is. Make these 2 guys the same and see green, and you're doing good. Now, here's what we've done. For each one of these types of businesses, we have written in these areas here the appropriate standardized investment banking speak. And all you got to do is come in here and kind of copy what we've done, redo the words a little bit, but keep it the same way, follow the punctuation, follow the capitalization, and then we're going to mix all these things together into one slam dunk pitch. Now, this is really hard to write, especially with all these numbers, and what's terrific is when you change these numbers, you don't have to go back and change it. It's right here. Now, you can copy and paste this and put it directly into a Microsoft Word document. You could edit it further, like you can take out that 7 if you don't want that. That's to keep us straight so we know which one of these numerous concatenated statements are being shown and how to go back and chase it if we made a mistake. So, having said all this, the last thing that occurs is that we've got ourselves an executive summary. Now, the summary of the opportunity is something that you've got to write. It's not hard, especially since if you go over to the first left-hand tab, the red tab, you're going to go back to the detailed founder valuation. Now, if you scroll down here, you're going to see something valuable. We have asked 11 questions. And if you can answer these, which I suggest you do prior to writing, you will have a much better idea of how to write this paragraph. Now, we've also included the yearly revenue projection, so you have a nice little chart. This is the same thing here, the proposed offering and expected investment returns. Here's your capitalization table, and there's the pitch. So all together in one page, you've got yourself a great little preparation for standing and delivery. It's a one-pager. You can send it out to people. You can test the waters and see if they like your investment or whether they just simply ignore you. Anyway, there it is. And thanks for listening. If you get into trouble, give us an email. Maybe we can help you out. We also have a consulting service, so if you get into complex deals, we can do it over the internet via Skype. Wonderful service. Anywhere in the world, we can talk on Skype. And we can probably do that in about an hour or less for you. So, having said all this, get busy, get our product, and start making deals. Thank you very much. Bye.